project here in McLennan County. And it's out north of Trading House Creek Reservoir, that area there. We're preparing to submit a proposal to this body soon for a county tax abatement for the project, and just wanted to stop by ahead of time, introduce ourselves, and tell you what we're doing.
Going to D on proclamations, resolutions, we have nothing this week. Under E, under consent agenda, I have no recommended pulls. Does anyone else have a pull from the consent agenda they want to discuss? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass. All right, Dustin.
Yes, sir. Judge, if we could go to item N1, this is discussion and or action on matters regarding COVID-19.
These case numbers have decreased for the hospitals.
All right, Judge, do you want to accept that for recording purposes?
Yes, is there a motion to accept that report for recording purposes?
So moves.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
All right, if we could go to item N10, presentation from Texas State Technical College regarding Central Texas Industrial Training Center.
There's a mismatch between the number of jobs that are available and the number of people that are available to fill those positions.
Move to accept for recording purposes. Second.
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
All right, if we could go to item N6, that's the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report for January 2022.
Know that we have had one project announcement for this first quarter, and that was in McGregor with Messer.
All right, if there's no questions, or a motion to approve the chamber report for recording purposes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
All right, we can go back up to item F, budget and budget amendments. F1's regarding the FY22 budget. Francis?
FY22 budget amendments, starting with F1A.
Is there a motion to approve F1D through F1I?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Under item G, bids, RFPs, RFQs, G1 is authorization of recommendations. G1A regarding bid 22-004, aggregate surface treatment for delivery and pickup.
All right, what's your pleasure on items G1A?
Motion to approve the purchasing director's recommendations on the bids.
Second. We have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right.
All right, item G1B regarding bid 22-005, asphalt emulsions for delivery and pickup.
Not what's your pleasure, Court?
Move to approve the recommendation of the purchasing director.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. We have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. I'd like to go to item L1. We have Shane Turner and Fiona Bond here. This is regarding the U.S. Department
Keeping the Vision 2020 reunion, saluting the classes of 1960, 1962, 65, 67, and 70. Commissioner Miller.
Good morning. And if it's okay with the court, I'll go ahead and do D2 and D3 together.
Yes, ma'am.
No one is going to be here for either one of those proclamations this morning. However, they are going to have special events. This Saturday will be the Carver High School reunion, and so that this proclamation will be read at that event. D3 is the proclamation recognizing our own Judge Fernando Villarreal, the Justice of the Peace for Precinct 5. Upon his retirement of 30 years, there will be a reception for him next Wednesday. I think next Wednesday is December 14th. December 14th, I'll make sure I get that right. Yes, next Wednesday, December 14th. And give me half a second. I want to go ahead and announce where that is going to be. It will be from 11 until 4:30 with presentations from the court at noon. I may have to come back and give you that. No, there it is. Okay. It went out on the listserv, so all county employees have it. I'm sure you've seen it. It will be at the Reverend Lawrence Solar Activity Center, 2710 Spate Avenue. It is a historic moment. Judge Villarreal was the first Hispanic Justice of the Peace for McLennan County. In his 3 decades of service, he never ran opposed. And that's a feat in itself. And it just speaks to his integrity and dedication. And I'm hoping that the court members can come through there and acknowledge and honor him, congratulate him on his retirement. And so if there are no objections, I would like to go ahead and make the motion to approve D2 and D3, those proclamations recognizing the Carver High School reunion and the proclamation recognizing and honoring the Honorable Fernando Villarreal, Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, upon his retirement of 30 years of dedicated service to McLennan County.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I will say that probably one of the more remarkable leaders that we've seen, certainly in the Hispanic community and countywide, for his years of service, and he's just a good man.
Yes, he
So
is.
we're going to miss him. We'll move to the consent agenda at this time. So far, the only requested pulls are E3A, which is an HR matter for the 170th District Court. Does anyone else have something they wish to pull for discussion? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of E3A.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dustin? Good
Yes, sir.
morning, sir. Do we want to go ahead and, do we have anything that we need to change with the order of the agenda?
We've got a few outside presenters. I know Chris Collins was heading over to the courtroom. Is she there yet?
She's not, but we do have Sean Nixon is with us. And
All right. So, sorry, Commissioner.
It's okay.
So we have 2 items for Captain Nixon. We can start with item H2. This is an authorization of addendum to the state plan of operation agreement with the state of Texas. This is for the 1033 surplus property program.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
This item is, back in June, first off, we passed the current state plan of operation. Judge Felton signed that. It was ratified by the court. This is an addendum that was put forward by the Biden administration. It does modify the original state plan of operation some. It redefines controlled property. It requires us to notify the court and the public if we, as the sheriff's office, wants to acquire any future controlled property for the next coming year. So at this time, I'd like to say the only controlled property we would like to acquire in the next year, if it becomes available, is any helicopter or helicopter parts. Any helicopters that we acquire the next year would be for parts, for cannibalization, not to add to our fleet. So it would just be adding to our parts supply, which helps us repair and maintain our helicopters at a very low cost to the county.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
We'll go ahead and take this one because I do have questions and I want you to kind of give us a scenario of the past on our next agenda item. Does anyone have any questions for the captain with regards to H2?
But we do need to approve it as presented, so just in case the SO decided that they had a need to acquire some of these other controlled properties, that you would have that option, isn't that correct?
Correct. So
Even though your intent's not there right now.
my intent is not there. What I would have to do is come back to the court and give you another notice, and then 30 days after that, we could require
Well, I mean,
other properties.
they're all listed on here.
They are, but we have to, according to the addendum, we have to tell you exactly what controlled items we want to
Okay,
get.
I see, okay. Well, we can still approve it as presented then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I believe now, Captain, you're still here for M2A, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And that's the authorization of the application for aircraft hull and liability insurance with Assured Partners. And I know last time this came up, I was one that had questions. I was trying to remember how many we had, what came in, what we were cannibalizing. And if you would, it's probably going to be beneficial to the court. Go back and give us a history.
Sure.
Just for the last few years on how we've
Absolutely.
acquired what we have and what we.
And we'll back up, the sheriff's office first acquired 1033 helicopters in 1974. Ever since we first acquired them, all of our helicopters have been given to the county through the 1033 program. In 96, we acquired the helicopters, 2 of the helicopters we currently fly now. In 2018, I got 3 more helicopters from the military, 2 of which we flew all 3 back. They were all flyables, 2 of which were cannibalized, and 1 was added to the fleet. And then in 2020, we acquired 2 more helicopters. We flew them back, and they were cannibalized. Now, the reason we cannibalized these aircraft is to acquire parts for maintenance for our helicopters that we're flying. So I have spare turbines, spare transmissions, spare blades, and we basically take these helicopters and strip them down to a bare airframe, and I keep all of the parts. I have them all stored and categorized in our facility at the jail. Is there anything else?
No, it was
Currently,
just,
yeah,
Three.
we currently have 3 flyable, yes, sir.
Three flying in the fleet right now.
That is correct.
And that's what this application
That is correct.
represents.
Yeah, the cannibalization birds that we fly back never hit our insurance. The only thing we have insured are the ones that we currently fly. And the way the fleet's set up currently, we have 2 aircraft that are patrol aircraft that we use on calls. And the reason we have 2, we have a flyable, or the one our primary and our backup. Our backup aircraft is used when our primary aircraft is down for maintenance. So the way our maintenance works, we use service providers that work for Air Evac, another company here in the local area. They work 7 day on, 7 day off. On their off shifts, when we need maintenance or work on our aircraft, they come work for us. It works out great for us because they get outstanding training through their company that they work for, and we get to utilize all that training on our stuff at a much lower cost.
And then there's a surveillance also too.
Then there's also a surveillance and training aircraft that we keep stripped down, and we use that aircraft to build time for our pilots that are coming up in the program.
any additional questions, comments? Okay, need a motion to approve M2A.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
sir.
Thanks.
Michael, good to see you as well, sir.
Good to be seen, right?
Exactly, exactly. All right, Dustin, we do have, Chris is here now.
All right, we could start with item N2. This is the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report for October 2022. And then after that, she has 2 additional items as well.
Okay, morning, Chris.
Good morning, happy holidays to y'all.
Thank you.
Talking through our monthly report, you have our report through the end of October 2022. I'll tell you that we are not seeing a slowdown in the level of work that and inquiries into our Greater Waco region, which is great. Year-to-date, the attraction inquiries, we've received 124 of those compared to 103 the same time in 2021. Proposals going out the door correspondingly high in comparison, so 84 compared to 78. Our on-site visits, a little bit slower than what we saw in 2021, but I will tell you that the visits that we have are, these are not tire kickers. These are folks that are very interested in the region, and we continue to see a lot of activity when it comes to interest in along the I-35 corridor, particularly in the Central Texas region between Dallas and Austin. So we are very optimistic about what's on the horizon for the community, and we are seeing a lot of interest not just in project activity for Waco, but a lot of the communities across McLennan County are seeing interest. We've been working on project opportunities in McGregor, in Robinson, Lorena. We've even been working on some things in the Lacey Lakeview area in Belmead. So really a lot of activity that's likely to benefit communities throughout McLennan County. Our business retention program continues to do well. We have moved back into a fully face-to-face program now. And I would just say that if you have the opportunity, if you receive the invite to come to a business visit in your district, it really means a lot to those businesses to have that elected official present. They feel very valued, and it's an opportunity to just tell those companies thank you for their investment, not just in the tax base, but in the people of McLennan County as well, as we continue to see lots of employers that are looking for opportunities for growth, looking for resources for training their existing employees. So I would just love for y'all to be a part of that if your schedules will allow. And if there's something that we need to do differently on our end to make the visits more flexible for y'all to attend, just let us know, and we'll work to make those accommodations as well. And then we continue to be outside the market when it comes to promoting the region as a location for business. And we're always really well received. Waco's got a great reputation, and the McLennan County's got a great reputation when it comes to being a place that's really business friendly. And we get lots of questions and great comments about the things that are happening in the area. We always get a question of whether or not we know Chip and Joe, which is a great conversation starter, and to be able to talk about all the other things that are happening in the marketplace. Looking at the report and the projects that are most active, we do have, I'd say, 10 projects that are really in the active space. And I think we talked about this a little bit before, that they would be very significant tax-based generators for the community, as well as strong employers for the market, and bring forth new businesses that we've not seen in this area. We're seeing a lot of interest in the circular economy, which means repurposing of existing materials into new product. And that's always, as industry is looking at how it can be more sustainable overall, that's going to be a new opportunity. And apparently, Central Texas is kind of the epicenter in the state of Texas when it comes to that type of economy. Being able to easily access the Dallas-Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston region, this area becomes really the place where a business can be and access those within a 200-mile radius, which is really the sweet spot from a logistics perspective to support a variety of businesses in the circular economy. We're continuing to see opportunities when it comes to expansions by existing businesses. And we did actually have a project announcement for October with Howmet. So thank y'all for your support through their business grant. They do have a $9 million investment that's underway right now that will create 17 new jobs that average over $55,000 a year. But I think in addition to that, and more importantly, is it's supporting an existing business that has 487 existing workers that are making well over $55,000 a year as well. So, and the economic impact that they generate by that existing workforce is pretty substantial. This project supports the logistics industry and transportation industry more specifically. And so we're glad that Howmet is continuing to grow in our region. And that would conclude my report for the month of October.
Question real quickly.
Yes, sir.
And I should probably have already looked at this, but are we seeing as we're growing from a corporate perspective, are we seeing our poverty rate start to decline a little?
Yeah, I mean, overall, there was a decline, and I don't have the exact numbers, but across the nation and across the state of Texas, there was a decline in the poverty rate from 2019 to 2020. I don't know if the 2021 numbers are out yet, but part of that was the child tax credit and the additional dollars that were made available to families. So one of the things that we're watching is whether that's going to be that poverty rate reduction is sustained now that child tax credit has gone away.
Right.
So that's an important thing that we'll need to watch. But we did see a reduction. We were seeing a reduction in the poverty rate prior to COVID and that credit coming along. But, the world has changed since 2019. And so we need to see now that we're kind of moving back into a more normal cycle of life, whether that's going to be sustained or not.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? If not, I'll need a motion to approve this for recording purposes.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chris?
And we have,
Dustin, which one do you recommend next, sir? H5, I1?
I think we'll read them both in since they are related. So H5 is authorization of first amended and restated agreement for industrial business grant with Ooze and Oots North America. And I1 is authorization of first amendment to the program project agreement with the same company.
So what you have before you in your packet related to the industrial business grant, is with Ooze and Oots North America. And we have the corresponding program project agreement amendment 2. The company is well underway with the construction of their facility in Texas Central Park at the corner of Mars Drive and Texas Central Parkway. However, they have bumped up against some construction delays and equipment delays that has caused them to push back their completion date for the project. So they requested, and they've been very transparent in communicating with us about what's been happening on their end. And this is not something unusual. We've seen a lot of these delays just because supply chain issues continue both from a materials perspective and in some instances from a labor perspective on specialized equipment installation. In this instance, Oozen is working to bring over a critical piece of equipment from an international supplier. That supplier is having some material acquisition issues that's caused them to delay their ability to deliver the piece of equipment. So they've asked for an extension of their delivery date for both the real and personal property investment numbers. They're keeping their job creation number the same. But they have asked to amend both agreements from their real property improvement date, completion date of June 1st of 2022 to June 30th of 2023.
Okay. And that covers both H5 and I1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Chris, were there any number changes? I was trying to
No, sir.
reconcile.
All of the investment numbers, all of the job numbers are the same. The only thing that we're changing are the completion dates.
Dates, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any others? We'll go ahead and take H5 and I1 together. I need a motion to approve both.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time today, ma'am.
Appreciate y'all.
You bet.
Happy holidays to you.
You bet. You go back, Dustin, you want to catch budget amendments?
Yes, sir. Or I see Bill is on Zoom. He has
is he?
2 items. Is it okay if we go to him next?
Absolutely.
So that would be under item M. M1A is annual adoption of authorized brokers, and M1B is annual review and approval of McLennan County investment policy. I'd like to call on Bill Help. And Bill, if you can hear us, you are muted.
Yes, I'm in now. I thought it was a while before we got to this. You surprised me. Lisa called me in, but yes, the investment policy, there's no changes. So I recommend approval. Is there any questions?
Questions or comments for our treasurer? If not, I'll need a motion to approve M1A, the annual adoption of authorized brokers, and M1B, the annual review and approval of McLennan County investment policy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, well, you've got M1B in here too. It's, see if you have any questions on that. That's, we do that at the same time. It's another requirement of the Texas Public Funds Investment Act and probably the policy as well, where we have to get the brokers approved. And we did add a broker this year. It's Ed Sanchez. I have to.
Cabrera of Capital Markets.
Ed Cabrera. Anyway, he used to work for TexPool and retired from TexPool, and he came in and asked if he could be added, and I told him I'd recommend it. And so we don't actually we don't do enough transactions for 4 brokers. They call a lot, marketing, wanting us to add them to their list. The ones that are on there we dealt with for a number of years. The Ed is the only one that's new. So I recommend approval.
Okay. Questions or comments? And since we have none, Bill, we went ahead and approved M1A and M1B together. So thank you, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Okay, I didn't quite get it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Dustin,
Commissioner, do we want to pick up the pull from the consent agenda, E3A?
let's do that, sir. If we could. Is Anna with us?
I am.
Good morning, Anna.
Good morning.
If you would, go ahead and share with us the information for E3A, which is the HR matter for the 170th District Court.
Yes, sir. So I have here the 170th District Court requesting the ability to fill a vacancy prior to the exhaustion of PTO accrued by the exiting employee. We have Suzanne Haynes retiring at the end of this year. She is in the court reporter position. It's a critical position. And so the court does want the ability to fill the vacancy as soon as January 4th of 2023. They do have a court reporter in the wings lined up, an applicant that's ready to start January 4th. Again, it's a request to fill position 512 prior to the exhaustion of paid time off on the books for exiting employee Suzanne Haynes.
Okay, and no budget-related issues that are with this?
Yes, so because of that overlap and because the employee in that position makes max, we'll need a budget amendment of roughly about $14,500 to cover that overlap. We'll know the exact figure when that employee leaves because she may take some of that time off before the end of December, but we will bring that to you as soon as that transfer of employees occurs.
Okay. Questions or comments?
I have a question. I certainly concur that that's a critical position and we've got to fill it. But Anna, my question is, with the conversion to PTO, are we going to see more of this happening or less?
I would not expect a change in the amount of times that this occurs.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome.
what's the court's pleasure?
Move to approve E3A.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. At this time, let's move down to item F, F1 regarding the FY 2022 budget. Francis?
Sorry. Yes, so we do still have a couple budget amendments to clean up FY '22. Hopefully, this will finish out. Sometimes we have adjustments that have to be made later on before the year is completely closed, but this should cover most of it. So starting with F1A, this is just a budget amendment in the Health Services Department, and they're requesting to move within their department into other services and charges. And then F1B is our hopefully final complete cleanup entry for the general fund for fiscal year '22. So I will kind of just go through this in broad topics, but if you have any questions about any of it, please just stop me and let me know what questions you may have. So two of the main line items that you'll see on the first two pages are bilingual pay and incentive pay. These are line items that are budgeted for, but they're budgeted in a bulk amount in our countywide department. So after we know where we land with what's going to be spent in each department, we reclass, do a budget amendment to move the funds to the appropriate department. So you'll see bilingual pay and incentive pay. The bottom of page 2, there's some line items that need to be cleaned up related to personnel. So, through the year, sometimes there's adjustments that need to be made. Sometimes something like an overlap of employees, just like we saw with the court reporter. There are also benefits, taxes that are related to the incentive pay and bilingual pay. There's also some adjustments that need to be made to overtime or part-time. Once the final accrual is made for payroll, again, some cleanup that needs to be made there. And then there is a comp time payout line, which is a new line that we've never had before. But since you approved to pay out all of the comp time that was on the books right before year end, there's an amount there that is cleaning up that line item's budget as well. And then there's an operating section, again, have some line items that needed some adjustments just the last month or so we just wait and clean them all up at once. There is an adjustment that needs to be made to indigent healthcare. So you may remember that last year we really tried to get that budget in line with what we thought was actually going to be spent. We need an additional $175,000 there. But again, just cleaning up things that occur through the year. So you'll see on the back page where we're decreasing. And so, like I said, we'd already budgeted lump sums for bilingual pay, for incentive pay, and then we're able to fund the other adjustments through vacancies or unspent budget in full-time employees lines. So if there's, again, any questions, let me know. I think we could go ahead and take those two if y'all are good with them
Okay.
to approve.
Do we have any questions or comments for F1A or B? If not, we'll need a motion to approve both.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. F1C?
So I don't know if Chip Sigmund was going to be on to speak on these, but these are the budget adjustments or budget amendments for the state grant that CSCD utilizes. So these are just on there for recording, and these are for fiscal year '22.
Okay. We'll need a motion to accept this for recording purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to F2.
So under F2A 1 and 2, there is nothing that we need to discuss today on those. F2B, so there are 5 budget amendments for the current fiscal year '23. So F2B is in the general fund. This is an increase to capital outlay from contingencies. This was actually deferred on the last agenda, but this is the piece of the body camera purchase that will be funded out of general fund. So the other portion for the first year is coming from the grant proceeds.
Okay. Francis, real quickly before you move, did we need to approve F2A?
I'm sorry, I think we can just pull with, or can we just pull with no action?
Yes.
Those two, okay,
Okay.
sorry.
So F2A, F2A1, and F2A2, no action? Okay.
And then F2C, this is in the courthouse security fund, the special revenue fund. This is an increase to capital outlay within that fund. During budget workshops, they did request to use that fund to purchase a security system upgrade for the courthouse. There has since been a price increase. There's another item on the agenda that's related to that. But this increase of $6,132 is necessary to go forward with that purchase. F2D, this is Fund 401, our permanent improvement fund. There are three small projects that make up a larger electrical upgrade project. They are for the Highway 6 Jail, Jack Harwell Detention Center, and the F-Wing Garage area out at Highway 6. And so, again, electrical upgrades that need to be done. I know TJ can speak to the details of those projects if needed. And then F2E, this is the permanent improvement fund related to the zoo bond. And so we are requesting to move from the unallocated portion of those proceeds into the line item for the Hoofstock barn. So there are two change orders. You'll see there, change order 10 and 11. They total $16,107.14. So we're just adjusting the budget to accommodate those orders. The F2F, this is the permanent improvement fund for the 2021 bond proceeds. And then this is just increasing the line item for ADA modifications. This was related to a CP&Y invoice that was approved on the last agenda. And that's
Okay. So does anyone have any questions or comments for F2B through F2F? If not, we'll need a motion to approve those.
Move to approve F2B through F2F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. F2G, Dustin?
Yes, sir. This is an authorization of Texas Association of Counties claim deductible invoice associated with Cornell Martin, and the total is $45.50.
Okay, questions or comments? Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to G at this time. G1 is the authorization of security system quote from Cabling and Wireless Solutions of Texas. Do we have Kent? Well, probably David, I would guess at this time. Is David on?
Yes, Commissioners. How are y'all?
Good, sir. How are you today?
Excellent. So this relates back to F2C, the budget amendment that y'all approved, and this is the direct quote for that security system at the courthouse.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments for David? If not, we'll need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Item G2 is authorization of asbestos abatement design management proposal from Environmental Concerns Incorporated. It's TJ on. There he is. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, guys. So this is the cost estimate for the asbestos portion of the project over at 415 Columbus. So this will be the plan, specs, and monitoring, and then they will also help us to write the bid package for the contractors coming in. So we recommend this for approval.
Okay. We have questions? What's the court's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we'll move to item H, authorization of business associate agreement with Axon Enterprise Incorporated. Dustin?
Yes, sir. This is the business associate agreement with Axon Enterprises. This is for protection of health information. This is related to the body cameras for Constable Precinct 1.
Questions or comments?
And y'all
Cost
have
on
reviewed
this?
the, I'm sorry, go ahead. Somebody have a question?
The cost on this,
So this is the part of the agreement that just protects the health information, but the cost of the total, and Francis might be able to help me. I know it was spread out over 4 or 5 years.
It's just the body cameras though, isn't it? We're talking about for
Yep.
precinct, or constable.
For precinct 1, yes.
And y'all have looked at the agreement and as far as.
This is just the business associate agreement that protects the health information. The agreement with them had been approved prior with Axon.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure of the court.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll move to, Dustin, where are we at? H3 now?
Yes, sir. H3.
Okay, authorization of sales order agreement and service agreement with CTWP. This is in reference to the Archives Records Management copier. Authorization of the following agreements with CTWP for a copier for archives. Sales order agreement totaling $5,855.92 for a Canon Image Runner Advanced DX 4725. And I don't think I'd enjoy selling those. That's a big mouth of words there to sell a piece of equipment. And then number 2 on this is the service agreement for the copier totaling $200 a year. Base allowance for black and white copies is $25,000. Questions or comments?
What functions the money come out of? Where's that come from?
So the purchase of the copier comes out of capital outlay and general fund. The reoccurring maintenance agreement comes out of that department's budget. Yes.
Yes, sir, we did budget for that.
Yes, it's all budgeted for.
Any more questions or comments? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H4 is the authorization of support and maintenance agreement with Exela Technologies for records management. This is agreement number 44266-A-Conserve. We'll just say that. Lisa, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well, ma'am.
Yes, this is the annual agreement for the paper vision software that's utilized by the Archives Office. This is the first of 3 for FY23. It looks like there was right around a 5% increase for this renewal, which is pretty standard.
Okay.
So this will be for January of 2023, through the end of January in 2024.
Okay. Questions or comments for Lisa? Pleasure of the court.
Move to approve.
May I have a second?
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number H6, Dustin.
Yes, sir. So this is an authorization of use agreement with HEB for the Records Building parking lot. HEB will be hosting the Feast of Sharing next Tuesday evening at the Convention Center, and they are requesting to use around 20 parking spot in the Records Building lot starting at 3:30 next Tuesday, December 13th, for volunteers to be able to park. And so Reagan has checked with most of the offices in the Records Building, and no one had any concerns. I don't believe we heard back from the tax office, but it is late afternoon, and just hoping to be able to maybe section off about 20 parking spots for them if the court approves this agreement.
Okay. Questions or comments for Dustin?
Will TJ be able to do that, section those off? He thinks that'll work okay?
Yes, sir. We should be able to take care of that. We'll do that far corner over there next to the parking lot.
Very good. Thank you.
Pleasure of the court.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H7 regarding software and data processing services for the Health Services Department. Is Heather on?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Heather. How are you today?
I'm just fine. How are you all?
We're doing well, ma'am. Please go ahead with this item.
All right, this is a request to transition software users from our current Network Sciences program to the Indigent Healthcare Solutions Program, IHS. This is a project we've been working on since about the end of the last fiscal year, and we are ready to move forward with that with the court's permission. I have before you an amendment to our current contract along with the proposal from IHS. And then the agreements that have all been reviewed by legal. And cost associated with our budget line item, I think we're just a little bit around $1,300 difference for the total year cost to transition from one to the other.
Okay, and Heather, all these are related, these three items?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you'll just go ahead and move to H7A, we'll just take them all at one time.
Okay, so this is the amendment to the current Network Sciences agreement. And it's just discussing the 30-day notice that should be imposed if we're not wanting to renew with them, and that's been completed already. It also includes an invoice showing the remaining year cost associated with our current contract with Network Sciences. So it extends our billing period on a month-to-month prorated amount from October 1st through the end of December. And then we're going to enter into a read-only status with them for January and February so that we're able to still view our information from our previous system once we convert to our new program. And then there was also a $3,000 document file preparation and delivery fee in order to obtain all of our scanned documents. So that's all the items for H7A.
Okay. Anybody have questions or comments for Heather? Okay. I need approval for H7 and H7A.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. H7B, authorization of non-exclusive license agreement, business associate agreement, and related proposal with Indigent Healthcare Solutions. Heather?
Yes, sir. And this will be our new contract with IHS, Indigent Healthcare Solutions. And this is a breakdown of the cost associated with that contract. It comes in at $29.18 a month. This term agreement will be from December 19th, which will be considered our go live with IHS through December 18th of 24, just renewing each year. There'll be a 3-year renewal term of 2 years each. And I think that is it for that item. We also have an invoice, or not an invoice yet from them, but a statement of prorated fees associated with December. So we will not be paying the full $29.18 for the month of December.
Okay. Questions or comments? Pleasure of the court.
Move to approve H7B.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item H8 is the authorization of memorandum of understanding with University High School. This is in reference to collaborative partnerships for learning enrichment and internship. Pam and David, do we have either of you on?
Yes, commissioners. So this is just agreement for the internship program. University wants to be a part of that program when we have slots available and when they have students available for that program. And this is just the MOU between us and them requesting that.
Okay. Questions or comments? Need a motion to approve H8.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move down to item J at this time, capital improvement, repair, maintenance projects, and construction projects. J1 is regarding McLennan County downtown jail remodel for courtrooms and office space, RFQ 21-011. See agreement with Brinkley Sargent Wigington Architects. Authorization of invoice number 1. Dustin?
Yes, sir. So this invoice totals $11,500 and it covered the following. It was part of their programming and conceptual layout work, and then also the topographic survey work that was done by Walker Partners. So it totaled $11,500. It has been reviewed by our group and is recommended for approval.
Any questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve J1.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move down to items J2 at this time regarding capital improvement projects for Cameron Park Zoo agreement with the city of Waco. J2A, Francis?
So this is a reimbursement request from the city of Waco for costs they have incurred on the education center, vet hospital, Hoofstock Barn, and Penguin exhibit. So that's been reviewed by our office and recommended for payment. And just a reminder that this is coming out of the zoo bond proceeds.
Okay. Questions for Francis? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve J2A.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no, let's see, J2B needs to be deferred today. Can I get a deferral on that?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J3 regarding ADA renovations to MHMR Crisis Center, bid number 21-003, agreement with HCS Incorporated Commercial General Contractors. J3A is authorization of payment application number 15. TJ, are you on, sir?
Yes, sir. So this is right in line with where they are right now. You'll notice down at the bottom under J3C, we've got the letter of substantial completion from our architectural firm. So everything should be good to go on both of these, J3A and J3B.
And C?
And C, yes, sir.
So all three, we can take them together.
Yes, sir.
All right. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to accept J3A, B, and C, and we have a second as well. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. What time do we need to start considering?
It starts at 10, so
5-2.
now would be a good time.
Okay, y'all want to squeeze in a couple more right quick? Or do y'all want to go ahead and recess? Let's move down to items L, grant proposals, L1A, Dustin and Mike.
Yes, sir. Mike, did you want to talk about the ARPA arsenic abatement agreement?
Right. This is the format of the agreement. We still have not got we're still working with Forbes to determine whether it's a subrecipient agreement or a beneficiary agreement. We've come to the conclusion that it's a beneficiary agreement, but we need them to be on board with that. So we would defer this, ask this be deferred to the 20th. And on the 20th, the hope is that we will be able to get these agreements out to each one of the water suppliers with their allotted amount for signatures for them to send back.
Okay, anybody have questions or comments for Mike?
So he's asking for a deferral?
For a deferral, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Can I get a motion for that?
Move to defer.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to L1B quickly. Dustin?
Yes, sir. So this is an agreement with Orbis. It's an invoice for their services through the month of October. It totals $6,147.44 and has been reviewed and recommended for approval.
Okay, any questions or comments?
I do, and we may not, if we've got time. Dustin, what are they reviewing? We're not giving out any money. So what's the reviewing? I looked at their invoice and there's no details, which would bring me to my second question. Can we get a more detailed description moving forward of what they're actually doing?
Yes, sir.
We're getting a bill every month, but it doesn't seem like we're granting any money to anyone.
Well, we can certainly request that. And Commissioner Mike, Francis and I are in pretty regular contact with them. So they're going back and reviewing all the agreements. We've been working on quite a bit on the water part in this beneficiary subrecipient question. We had a lengthy call with them a few weeks ago to kind of work through some subrecipient questions. And I guess Mike and Francis, if there's anything y'all want to add.
Yeah, I can add that we kind of got ahead of them. even when they were BKD in our agreements, we kind of got a little bit ahead of them. So they're going back and making sure that the federal requirements are all met and trying to fix them if they were not met.
Okay, because even when we were ahead of them, we were getting a bill every month, it
Yes,
seems.
so, and the time spent, like, you know, for us to do the reporting, it takes many days per month to do that. And so they assist with that. They make sure that, you know, we bounce things off of them. We meet with them regularly. They combine all of our documentation as well, so they can make sure that all of our documentation is in place if reviewed. So a lot, like Dustin said, a lot of go back and forth with them constantly, sometimes daily.
And Commissioner, I think if you look, this one's around 28 or 29 hours total for that month of October. So it's, you know, it's a pretty regular, you know, maybe an hour or so a day they're working on our projects if you break it down like that.
Hey, sometimes I bill that much in a day.
Sometimes, did you, I missed, did you just say sometimes you work an hour a day? Is that what you said, Mike?
Yeah.
Commissioner Smith, is this something you're okay with? or
I'm okay, I'm okay.
Okay, all right. And with Mike working an hour, you don't have a
Yeah.
problem with that either? Okay.
No problem.
Let's go ahead and get a motion in a second if we can on this.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Reagan, how long? 20 minutes, 15? What's going to be appropriate?
I would guess 20.
20? Let's do that. So at this time, I think everyone realizes we have our courthouse Christmas party going on this morning with the kids at 10 o'clock. So let's go ahead and recess at this time, and we'll recess for 20 minutes and see everyone back in here after we hear these kids sing. Okay, we'll go ahead and call court back into session at this time. And we will begin with, and is everybody back on board? Dustin, you're ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're ready to roll here. Let's go to item L2 at this time regarding the bipartisan infrastructure law discussion and/or action on funding guidelines, opportunities, eligible projects, programs, and related matters. And Dustin, if you would.
And Commissioner, we don't have any update on this today, but we will continue working with TLC and get them scheduled for an update maybe after the first of the year, if that's okay.
Sounds good. Yes, sir. Item L3 is regarding the Bureau of Justice Assistance Small Rural Tribe Body Camera Program authorization of subaward agreement and related matters associated with the grant. Dustin and Francis?
And Francis, you add in whenever you need to, Francis, but this grant was, the subaward was to the Constable Precinct 1 office. It actually needs to be to the county. And so this would just be a correction of that. So we just need a motion to approve this award and then to allow the Judge Felton to be able to sign the updated agreements once it's been received. And then we will then place that on the agenda for recording purposes. And Francis, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, there's not anything else.
Okay, so questions or comments? If not, pleasure of the court.
Move to approve L3.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will move on at this time to M. And we've already gone through M1 and M1A and M1B. And Mercedes, correct me if I get off track here. That should take us down to M2B, authorization of order regarding acceptance of styrofoam cup donation. And Santa's not here to discuss that or to talk about that. So Dustin, you want to run over this right quick?
Yes, sir. So it's a donation of anywhere from 12 ounce to 32 ounce styrofoam cups that will be used by the sheriff's office, I believe, at the jail. And we just need a motion to accept that donation.
Okay. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item M3 is specialty court authorization of order accepting donations. This is in reference to local government code 81.032. Francis.
Yes, and again, just need acceptance of the donations to the specialty court for the prior month.
Okay. Questions or comments? Need a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to item M4 at this time, Road and Bridge Precinct 2, authorization of citizen reimbursement regarding culvert payment. Commissioner Miller?
On this one, the citizen paid for a culvert that was the incorrect size. It was too large. And so in correcting the size of the culvert that he actually needed, it also generates a price reduction and the need for an authorization for a reimbursement on an overpayment in the amount of $373.78. And so that's what I'm asking the court for today, is just an authorization to release that reimbursement.
I assume that, take that as a motion.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item M5, Human Resources, authorization to use county credit card for online job advertising purposes. Hello again, Anna.
Hi again. This is a request to have ongoing access to the county credit card to purchase online advertisement for job posting purposes. We've used it in the past and we're just putting forward this request to be able to use it for this fiscal year.
Questions or comments for Anna? Pleasure of the court.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to item N at this time. Discussion and/or action regarding order prohibiting or restricting certain fireworks in unincorporated areas of McLennan County, Texas is needed. I know that Dustin did visit with Elizabeth yesterday. Is she on, Dustin, or are you going to handle this?
Yes, sir. She is on, and I'll just kind of give a real quick overview to the court. So the December fireworks period runs December 20th through midnight on January 1st. And if the court wants to restrict the sticks and fins, we would have to adopt an order before the deadline of December the 14th. And so that's what's before you today, but I'll let Elizabeth give her recommendation.
Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, everyone. With the recommendation looking forward, the good news is we've had a lot of rain compared to where we were in 4th of July earlier this year when we did recommend that restriction. And there is enough moisture and enough greenery in the ground that we feel we should be okay with moving forward with not moving forward with an order to restrict the sale of those fireworks. We should be good to go for New Year's Eve this year.
Fantastic. Questions or comments?
So this would be no action?
Yes, sir. So we can, if the court decides, we can just pull with no action taken.
I think that, is everybody comfortable with that? Okay. Then item N1 will be pulled with no action taken, and I'm looking forward to an exciting Christmas and New Year's Eve now. Let's move to item N3, and thank you, Elizabeth. Authorization of McLennan County Historical Commission 2023-2024 appointments, and this is in reference to Local Government Code, Chapter 318. The appointments need to be approved and submitted to the Historical Commission by 12/31/22. Below are the recommendations for the appointments of the McLennan County Historical Commission for 2023-2024. Is everyone comfortable with those that have been nominated? If so, we'll need a motion to accept this group as they're named.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item N4 is the approval of order for acceptance of monetary donations. Dustin?
Yes, sir. There's a list in your packet of companies that have sent in monetary donations to be used for the courthouse Christmas event. And just as a reminder that as these are received, they are placed in a separate line item where the funds and expenses will be monitored and to guarantee that no intermingling of other county funds occurs. And it'll be clear that no public funds were being spent on this event. And Francis, would you like to add anything?
No, that's correct. So if you accept this list today, then like Dustin said, those are placed in a separate account, monitored. We follow the same procurement policies that we have, but it is kept completely separate from any public funds.
Any motion to approve?
Move to approve the order for acceptance of monetary donations for the courthouse Christmas event.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move to item N5 at this time, approval of excuse time for early office closures prior to the Thanksgiving holiday. Francis?
So last year around this time, you gave departments that fall under your control, not under another elected official, you gave them the ability to close early the day before a holiday. And you allowed them to close not earlier than noon, and then to, of course, allow maybe, for public access to their office by using a skeleton crew. So these are the 4 offices that did that. And so when we talked through that last year, you wanted these brought to you after the fact, just to ratify that list and to keep you in the loop. So it is Human Resources Engineering, Health Services, and Pretrial Services.
Okay. Any questions? Pleasure of the court.
Move to ratify the list of early office closures prior to the Thanksgiving holiday.
We have a second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item N6 regarding the McLennan County Group Health Plan. N6A is authorization of financial renewal and terms amendment with United Healthcare Services Incorporated in reference to contract number 921915. Anna?
Yes, sir. I have here before the court the renewal for year 3 of the 3-year agreement that we had with United Healthcare for the administrative service agreement. 2023 will be that 3rd and final year of the agreement. And so this is just a request to approve that renewal for 2023. There are just 2 changes that are being presented. One is an increase in the per employee per month fee for behavioral health solutions. It's going from $5.99 to $6.25. And this isn't across the board, it's just for usage of behavioral health solutions. The other change occurring with the administrative service agreement with United Healthcare is just an administrative correction since the inception of the agreement. The way rebates have been paid and the way the administrative fees have actually been paid to United Healthcare have been done a certain way. So the administrative fees have been paid from the rebates received from the pharmacy plan. And in the agreement, it was actually outlining that we would pay the administrative fees directly from McLennan County to UHC and then have to wait for rebates. And that's not the case. So we're just correcting that so that it does reflect the correct way it's been done, which is having our fees deducted from the rebates and then we receive the remainder of the rebates. So these changes have been reviewed. Well, the entire document has been reviewed by HUB and are recommended by Randy. HR has also reviewed it and also recommends the changes. That is 6A. 6B is actually the stop loss reinsurance agreement. That's also, again, just a renewal. Back in the summer during budget, Randy actually projected an increase in the per employee per month fee for this reinsurance of 7.6% and actually just came in at 3.8%, so lower than projected. So Randy and HR is recommending accepting this renewal offer for reinsurance for 2023.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Any
welcome.
questions or comments for Honor with regards to N6A or N6B?
On the, how much do we pay in total premium for the excess loss? I know you have it broken out per subscriber per month.
So, Francis, do you happen to have that handy?
I'm
'Cause I don't
pulling it
have
up.
that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just don't know our exact employee because it would just be multiplied by our employee count, but I don't know our last employee count for the purpose of billing.
So it looks like for 2022, it was a total of $857,000. That was pretty consistent with 2021.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis.
Any other questions or comments?
I always appreciate this last statement, the final amount is below the budgeted amount. That's one of my favorite statements.
Yeah, especially on this, and I mean, there's lots of double-digit increases in the insurance.
That's the
and
sta-
risk.
That's the average probably.
Right, and you know, on a risk, you know, this is risk insurance, and so I mean, I ran into our TAC representative yesterday, and I mean, it's incredible some of the increases, and really a lot due to increased prices and you know different things.
Very fortunate here with our health.
I think so too.
Very fortunate. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, we'll take both these together. I'll need a motion to approve N6A and N6B.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move at this time to N7, to approve and ratify a joint order appointing associate criminal judge, jail magistrates entered by the judges exercising criminal jurisdiction, including the appointments, assignments, and duties, and authorize the associate criminal judge magistrates to serve all of the courts of McLennan County hearing criminal matters. Dustin, you want to take that from there?
Yes, sir. And then Mike will add in a little at the end. Just as a reminder, a few months ago, the court had created these 3 part-time associate criminal judge jail magistrate positions. And the judges that handle criminal matters met last week and appointed 3 people to those spots. First one is Guy Cox, second is Dick Kettler, and the final one is Joe Lehman. And so, Mike, did you want to step in as to the purpose of this this order?
Right. Well, first, it's kind of to, you know, show the Commissioners Court's approval of the appointments. But more importantly, the statute requires us to address whether the associate judge is going to serve one or more courts. And so what the recommendation and the order says is that they'll serve all of the courts that exercise criminal jurisdiction. So it's not just one or sharing with one. The reality is they'll be doing almost exclusively magistration at the jail. But if there was a need for them to serve in some other capacity, if we had a judge out or something like that, or they could be pulled into service for that because on one of their off weeks or something like that. And they're magistrating for all the criminal courts. So that's just what this is to satisfy the statute.
Anybody have a question for Mike or Dustin? If not, I'll need a motion to approve N7.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we'll move down to item O. We have nothing this week with the Americans with Disabilities Compliance Project. Item P, the venue project, we have nothing this week. P2, Francis?
Yes, if we can just go ahead and pull that with no action. I'm going to bring this back to you in January. So I think it will be more efficient to show you, to talk through this once we have numbers through the end of December.
Okay.
So we can proceed that way.
And just for the record, item P2 is discussion and/or action regarding debt service fund and construction fund transfers that's being pulled with no action. We'll move to item Q, which is the McLennan County Radio Tower Project, multiple site expansion to existing simulcast communication systems, nothing for the court this week. Under work sessions, we do have the criminal justice electronic monitoring update. You all received that, so if you have any questions, you know who to contact with regards to that. And am I missing anything, or have we completed the agenda for the day? We're done. All right, anything else? to
Are
come
we
forward?
doing S6?
Yes.
We will not, it was not needed today, so
Okay.
we are.
Okay.
Okay, so anything else to come before the court?
Well, and Commissioner Perry, I'm sorry, unless if there was anything specific, but I know this was on the agenda in case it was needed, but I don't think it's needed today.
Okay.
Okay. Adjourn.